Okay, just some further thoughts on the learning support program. We can also do this after-school learning support tutorials. I would suggest we start these in January, and that they would be arrangement with willing teachers, paid at $30 an hour or something like this, and the school takes a bit of that, and the rest of it goes to the teacher. I would suggest it doesn't happen in groups, or if they are groups, then it would be very small groups like this. It would be, per student and per hour, and first come, first serve as far as the parents are concerned. Or we can do it in other ways, and we can mandate that certain students are highly recommended to take part in these. Otherwise, we can't guarantee that they'll pass the year or whatever else. Okay, but anyway, this is an option for the school to be taking this on in January. We already have one parent who would like to do this. And also interesting for discussion is the process of selecting these students. So we've got two procedures here. One is the one that I made earlier in term 1, where we identify the students, we assess their different needs, we assign different interventions, we communicate with parents and other stakeholders in the school, and then we conduct evaluation. This one is more detailed, and I just want to look at some of these details carefully. We initially are going to be identifying students based on assessment. We would not normally do it based on AFL or summatives. This would normally come during the entry or diagnostic testing phases. If it's not coming up until the summative assessment at the end of the term, then somehow we've missed the boat, I feel. However, there will be situations when summative assessments will be providing us with that kind of data. That would be useful. But really, a support program should identify students right early in the term so that we can put them in the program as quickly as possible and get them out as quickly as possible. The mainstream teacher, I wouldn't call it the mainstream teacher unless that's what you want to call it. Cambridge teacher might be more appropriate since we're running Cambridge programs. That person, yes, is going to be notifying the areas of concern that could be addressed. But really, again, also it is going to be the learning. That will be a collaboration between that person, this teacher, and the learning support teacher. The assessment results and academic targets could be submitted to the mainstream, could be submitted by the Cambridge teacher to the principal. Agree. However, I'm not so sure about academic target. A little bit difficult to determine an academic target unless the learning support program teacher is able to do that. Or maybe we can set particular benchmarks. I would think it rather than in terms of targets, but in terms of benchmarks. So we would create a learning support assessment filter that would create benchmarks, and students, once they hit that benchmark, then they're no longer eligible to be participating inside the learning support program. They can exit the program. And so then there's an exiting process which would involve collaboration and moderation, discussion on assessment, and work inside the learning support program. Not sure if this is really the way to think about it. In education, we've never used this word, target. Target is more of a quantity, whereas education is more of a process. We can look at it in terms possibly of learning objectives, and we can see the learning objectives that are applied to a certain grade level. Students are taken care by the support class teacher during mainstream hours, and this is where the terminology is important. Mainstream hours, do we mean during the Cambridge hours, or do we mean the Khmer class hours, or do we mean from options or from specials? So this needs to be more clearly defined. The support class teacher would then actually go about implementing the instruction, and I would suggest using Jolly Phonics for literacy. These two here are also interesting, and we will look at something else. For mathematics. The support class teacher submits results of the assessment to the principal, possibly, or it can be something that can be in a collaborative system between the learning support teacher and the Cambridge teacher or the community teacher. In larger school formats, it's normally several teachers that sit together and discuss, and then that discussion would be facilitated by the principal or by a coordinator, actually. If the student results have achieved the learning objectives set for that student, then the student can rejoin the classes that they've been pulled out of, whether they be Cambridge or Command or options or specials. So there is some details inside here that we can look at rewording, but overall the process is similar to the macro process here that I've described for last term. Okay, that's it. Thank you.